I got a picture of a little girl, man. I responded to this fucking call back in 2018. And the little girl was in the streets, like shot in the neck. And I watched my friend try to save her because she was an army medic. You know, she was a police officer, but she was an army medic, and she tried, man. And she couldn't save the girl. The girl died. You know, the girl name was Shania O'Flynn. And I've had this girl's picture in my phone for the last 5 years. From like when I read like I was there, but like I read the fucking article and I screenshotted her picture because it kind of it's a reminder for me to keep going and try to do the right thing and try to give hope to those that are hopeless. I think about that little girl because it was something about that homicide. It fucked me up where like I was like, damn, man. Like I learned a whole bunch about that girl through the news. Like I read the stories about her and her mom, and I kind of always was hoping, like, man, one day I'll even get to inbox her mom and maybe even talk to her and be like, yo, if nobody forgot about your kid, I didn't forget.
So when you ran up or walked, were you in uniform or were you just in pedestrian mode? You was working. And the lady that gave her CPR, she was
on duty too.
On duty too, and y'all walk up on it in the street.
They was like, man, it's a person shot, but nobody gave details. And when we got there, it was this young girl, and like her uncle or father, whatever he was shot in the leg, but she was shot in the neck. And my friend, man, she tried everything she could. And the girl, you know, she passed away. And I remember my friend, bloody as hell, like leaned up against the car, and she just fucking cried. And I got mad with the neighborhood because these motherfuckers, they start arguing and fighting amongst each other. And it was one of them times, man, I just lost my cool. Like, you fucking niggas, and I went the fuck off. Like, this fucking girl just died, and y'all fucking out here arguing over bullshit when the motherfucker who did it might be out here right now, and all y'all know who did it.
Wow.
And like when they picked her up and put on the thing, man, her arms was hanging, man, the girl was dead.
You know what? When you gone, you gone. And that's like,
yeah, man.
This gun violence, when you gone, it's like, you gone.
Yeah, I done seen it, man. I done seen people try to save people, and it's like,
when you gone,
it's for nothing, man. Sometimes that shit just for show. It's fucked up.
When I realized, like the other day, bro, I went and got some garlic powder out of my son's cabinet. Like a lot of stuff I didn't change. Some stuff I did as time went on, but whatever can stay in there, I just didn't touch it. So it was about the barbecue or something. Got the garlic powder, and you know how when it get old, it get hard like a rock.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to stop banging it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it was just like a reality to me. Like, he been gone so long that all this seasoning became a rock. You know, it's like, it just hit me like, damn, he gone. When you gone, it's like, no coming back from it. It's like, you know, and a lot of things don't be that serious. But, man, we just got on here and started talking. Welcome to Daddy's Podcast. I got one of my wrestlers. You know, I'm a high school teacher, and I taught at George Washington. He even made me go put on my shirt. Repeat chaps. Introduce yourself, man. Talk to them. Let them know who you are. We talking about all this stuff. They don't know you a police officer. They don't know nothing, man. We just talking. Right. Talk to them. Introduce yourself. Hey, at the same time, so they can understand our relationship. Why don't you explain how we met? The first time you remember seeing Mr. Jackson.
Got you. So, I'm gonna go a little bit before high school. So, I graduated 8th grade in 2003. And I'm embarrassed to say this, I didn't have a high school picked out at all. So what happened was the basketball coach from my grammar school actually ended up getting the job at Washington as the basketball coach. Because for me, it was either Corliss, I I tested into Morgan Park into the AP program, but then like I never followed through. So I had I'm like a week from starting no school, and I just so happened to get in touch with him somehow. I think his name was Tommy. I don't remember his last name. I just called him Tommy.
Hold on, Tommy, the basketball coach?
Yeah. He coached
that was your coach at grammar school?
Well, not me. I sucked.
He coached at your grammar school.
Yeah. I never made the team.
I did not know that, man. Tommy, that's my man.
Yeah. I never made the team though. I sucked. Yeah, County Cullen.
Okay.
So I never made the team because I was just that.
So we called him Tommy. We didn't call him last name. We just called him Tommy.
Last name to this day.
Right.
So I get somehow I got in touch with him. It may have been through another because a lot of County Cullen players went to Washington, Rio, my man Q played at Cullen, but Mario was the big name.
Okay, yeah,
he was the big name.
Is that the one that went to Kansas or something?
Yeah,
Mario went to big time school, yeah. Because I was just leaving Washington. I remember that
he was the big name. He was like
that ain't the one they called Big Ticket. It was two of them on that team. That was the other one. He went to Kentucky, I think. The one they called.
So Rio Little went to Kansas.
Yeah,
and I think he went. I think he might be playing in the G League.
Yeah, but I definitely remember him.
We call him Mike. He was good.
Okay,
he was good.
Yeah. I remember. I definitely remember.
So, I went to school with all them dudes, and somebody got me in touch with Tommy somehow. I'm gonna take this off.
Okay,
but I don't remember who got me in touch with him, and so he helped me get into Washington like last minute, and so I thought I was good at football. Like I played flag football 7th and 8th grade, but this is flag. This is not tackle. I was a bigger kid always, probably as you can see, but I didn't play like tackle, no helmet, no none of that. So when I got to Washington, I was like a walk-on. I sucked. Never played all year at all. At that time, we had, you had the Speedies and
yeah, we had nice football team. Was it Coach Corge? Was that the coach over there in Washington?
Was it?
The coach?
Oh, it was the big guy. I don't remember his name.
Oh, I
forgot his name. I forgot his name. I can't even think of it.
I know what you're talking about.
But that was
cool
the year like they was pretty good. So I was like a walk on, wasn't that good. But they let me play the last game of the season only. And realized, damn, this dude got potential. So I remember after the game, they were like, yo, you got to do something to stay in shape during off season. So they named all of like the winter/fall sports, and I heard wrestling. And I don't know how I knew you was the wrestling coach. I really don't. But I remember seeing you, I think it was Jay and maybe Qualls.
Big Qualls, yeah.
And so I was like,
Qualls was heavyweight. Jay was probably like 130,
35, one of them two.
Yeah.
And so it was like, hey, I want to wrestle because I got to do an off-season sport. Are you good? No, I've never done it.
Who said that? Who said are you good?
You. And then,
that's what I asked.
Yeah, you know I suck, man.
I said, are you good at what?
Like,
in wrestling or football? What did I ask you? Are you good at?
First it was like, who are you, dude?
Okay.
And then, all right, are you good? I'm like, I don't know. I watched WWE, WWF at the time. Bro. And so you looked at Jay, and I guess that was like the hitman cue, like, get him. And we wrestled, and he slammed me so hard. It was bad. But whatever heart I showed, all right, come out for the team. And then it kind of went from there. Obviously, I became what I became, but the first 2 years was horrible. Actually, the first 2 years was so bad, I think y'all called me by the street that I lived on. Nobody even called me by my real name. I was that bad. I was horrible. It was bad.
Oh, that's funny. That's hilarious.
Hey, look.
You really taking me back, bro. You really taking me back.
Listen, I remember it was bad, man. Like, the first time I got around, the first time I got around home from Wilborn, I was like, hey, I live over there. He like, you ain't getting no front door service. Get out. And made me walk, man, like a couple of blocks.
Oh, that sounds just like Coach.
He like, man, I just know I just know the street you live on. And so
make it home from there.
Shame on those He's like, hey, we taught you a couple moves. You'll be all right. So I'm like, damn.
Cool.
I was like, man, all right.
Hey, so let me tell
you. The first 2 years was bad, man.
Right.
It was bad. I think we had to fabricate my record a little bit.
This is what I remember. Because I don't remember none of that part. That's hilarious, though. But Jay did get you because me and Wilborn, we made some monsters. Y'all went out there and y'all wrestled. Y'all knew how to handle y'all. There's no way I was sending y'all on that mat with me and Coach Wilborn. We're not sending y'all on that mat without some type of self-esteem that guy got a problem on his hand. And, we'll never send y'all out there like that. But what I remember is when we make it downstate, we'll take the Frost Off team with us so y'all can see what downstate looks like. So y'all will have some type of visual goal instead of us just talking about it. So whoever made it downstate that had the matches who qualified for downstate, we took them down there. They was the main focus to wrestle, but y'all was, to look, to learn, And we did whatever we did downstate. We didn't place nothing. And on our way back home, we got off the bus. And I remember you coming up to me and you said, Coach, I'm going to be your first state champion. And you remember that?
Yeah.
You remember that? See, that's what I remember about you. I remember this little kid who, was you like 145, 140?
No, man, I was the 35 pounder.
35 pounder.
But it was by default. We just needed a 35, and I just happened to weigh 134.
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah.
That's how I even made the start. So Jay might have been 130.
Okay.
Because I was just the 35, but like, man, we ain't got no
35 pounder.
We need somebody to weigh in.
Ahead.
Hey, don't get pinned.
Yeah.
Right. So I learned how to bridge.
It's a team sport.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But you know what? What you do?
I didn't become the first state champ. I think so I would say my freshman, sophomore year, those was rough. And then I did a lot of work between sophomore and junior season to where I came back. Did very, very well. I think I even became John Hope's first city and because we switched schools, city and sectional champ, because I didn't win regionals. And I got downstate, and I don't know, I was like the lights intimidated me, the people, the atmosphere. I'm like, man, I've never wrestled in something like this. Even like my senior season, I come back, I done placed at like a national tournament or two over the summer. I think I was ranked like number 6 or something like that in the state. And I might have been the only Chicago Public League wrestler ranked in the top 10. But I was good. I just, at that time, I didn't believe that I was as good as I was. So I can honestly even admit right now, like at first I didn't want to admit this, but even as a senior downstate, I was like top 8, but obviously you only get a medal 1 through 6. I didn't try, man. Like I got down, I won my first match, and then like I lost the second one to somebody I shouldn't have lost to. And then we went out to eat, and I gained all that weight, and I had to lose like 16 pounds overnight. And then I come back, because remember, it was like if the guy you lost to lost, you was out back then. But and we was like, oh, he's not about to beat this next guy, because the next guy was like ranked a person or two above me, but he won. He actually teched the dude. I'm like, oh man, I'm still in. And I got on the scale. I'm like, that's a long way from 152. But hey, you gonna make that weight. And I made the weight. But it was just something in me at that time that just didn't did not think I could be what I could be ultimately. But I went on to college and I had.
But man, what? You know what? Sometimes we a little hard on ourselves. I'll listen to all of that that's going on in your brain, bro. Do you know if I brought all the wrestlers together, they would say, who did the best? Me and Coach Wilborn sat down and said, who did the best out of all the wrestlers we had? It would be you.
Yeah.
It would be you. Man, dude, let me give you a round of applause.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be you. We are so hard on ourselves, man. People praise how well, because you was not good at all your freshman and sophomore year. And then what you turned into, you went further than anybody we had in our program, man. Congratulations to you. Get all that other stuff out your head, man.
Yeah.
You got it in, bro. I want to give you your flowers. I did not know you was thinking that heavy like that, man. You was awesome.
No, I had a great
Them kids been wrestling since they've been 5 years old.
Yeah,
you started wrestling when you was 14. And was like in the top 10 for sure in the whole state.
Yeah, I was either, let me backtrack. I was either ranked number 6 or number 8.
Because I thought you placed. I ain't gonna lie. I thought you had placed 6. That's what I thought you was gonna tell me.
My junior,
but that's how high I thought of you. I'm like, we had one state placer out of everybody we coached.
My junior year, I was top 12. And then my senior year at day 2, I was either like 2-1 or 1-1. And I missed the medal round. I got DQ'd for like doing a figure 4 or something.
Okay.
And that kid went on to take 3rd, so I got eliminated though.
Okay, cool.
But I ain't gonna lie, like I can't say, and that's why, looking back in hindsight, I'm not mad that I didn't place, even though I made a promise, because I did that well and I didn't even try, because I really did not believe I was as good as I was.
That's real.
Even when it came to like college, I said sometimes, and this is all in hindsight, like, man, I could have went Division I and all of this good stuff. That wasn't God's plan for me, and it wasn't my plan. I still wanted to have a social life. I still wanted to party. So I went to a smaller school where I could still wrestle but have like an outside life, because like at them big schools, you're not going out and drinking and kicking it and all that every night. And I wanted to still do that. You know what I mean? Because I didn't get those, not a knock on you guys, because y'all told me time and time again, like, try to go top tier 1, but it was just me, like, man, I still want to have fun. So, even in college, I did what I did and all of that stuff. But yeah, sometimes I do be like, oh man, I could have went D1 or D2, but then like I would have missed out on a lot of the friends I got, like, because these are a lot of people I went to college with, I'm still friends with today. I still drive down to my college town. I always got a place to stay, always got food, always got somebody I can call and say, yo, let's catch up, let's go out, let's have a good time. And like, these are genuine connections. I still talk to my college coach, all of them. I still keep in touch with them. Some of them still compete, so I watch their matches online. Yeah. Some of them compete on like
Hold on, some of your coaches, bro?
Yeah, from college. Yeah.
Wow. How old are they?
I'm 34. So
about.
I think the one who still competes the most graduated in 2003, so that would make him like 36, 37.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh. That was your coach in college? He was a young coach.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a young coach. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay, cool.
But a lot of my coaches, like, they themselves were very accomplished wrestlers.
Okay.
And then when or like, they may have went D1 and had to go down to NAIA or whatever the case may be. But like, that's why they trained us as hard as they were, because they were young and still had that fire, man. Like, I don't think they knew what water breaks was. But I still, because of that, we still got camaraderie. We still talk to this day. It's not like an everyday thing, but I'll like follow their stories, watch a lot of their matches and whatnot. And that community was very, very, very community based and tight knit, being at the smaller schools.
Okay.
So I got a lot of good out of it. It helped me professionally because a lot of my professors wrote a lot of my letters of recommendation for getting on the job and things like that. They were professionals in their career themselves, so it's not like, you know, a lot of my professors were judges and they didn't have 3,000 and 4,000 students, so they may have only so many students in the criminal justice program where you could send an email or you could say after class, hey, can I come by your office or can we talk after class? And they had that time for you. So I got to really get to know a lot of people based off just the people that I, you know, that taught me or that I went to school with. So,
that's cool.
You know,
that's cool.
I could do the woulda, coulda, shoulda, but honestly, it worked out the way it was supposed to for me.
How was it being an athlete? Do you see any benefits as kids doing extracurricular activities? Is it something just being an athlete helped you as far as, I don't know?
Yes, because definitely being like an inner city kid, and this is kind of something I do talk with Wilborn and you a lot about, like, and you see it especially back in our time with all of the CPS coaches, and I'm only speaking on wrestling.
Okay.
You all had to take on a very dynamic role. So, like, what was the paycheck for the whole season? Maybe $3,000-$4,000.
Yeah. I think it was $3,000 for the head coach, maybe $1,500 for the frost-off coach.
Think about what you put out. You get your money back minus the extra $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 out of your own pocket. When
true.
you think about how much gas money you guys had to spend because we didn't have like team vans, so we going to tournaments in personal vehicles. The mats, I think at one of the schools you guys bought the mats. The warm-ups, you guys bought them and got them custom made out your own pockets.
You remember all that, man?
Yeah, man. The Gatorades and all that stuff. Like, you think about these tier 1 programs where, like, I would go to some of these schools in high school and be like, man, is this what it's like to be in a school with money? Like, your book actually is the year that we in right now, where mine is like 10, 20 years old. So when we would go to like some of the wrestling rooms, like, man, these guys, they got their own mats. They got a wrestling room dedicated to the wrestling program. The coach has control over the room temperature when it's like, we got to lose weight today. We can have a light practice today. We going to have a medium practice today. They got access to the pool. I don't know if we had a pool at either school that I went to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
We definitely had a pool at Washington.
I don't think
John,
we did at Hope. I don't know.
We
Or
did
it might
at
have been
Hope, but
closed.
it was closed.
Yeah.
But we had a pool. There was something wrong with it. They had to fix
So
it.
it's one of them things where it's
You
like,
got to see a lot of different
you
things.
guys in CPS, man, and this is a shout out to all CPS educators for real, because I got a lot of friends that are CPS, either teachers and principals, and they are some of the most dedicated people I know. Like, the role is so dynamic. It's not like going to some big school and, you know, these kids get out of class, they got mom and dad and the neighborhood at home where they, you know, like, I might have to call you, and there's plenty of times I done called you and been on the phone for 2, 3, 4 hours at a time. Even, like, you know, when I was going through like my little teenage crisis, I remember we had a long talk where I broke down and cried in front of you, like, man, is this what we gotta go through growing up? This what we gotta go through? And so the role that you guys take on in disenfranchised communities is like so undervalued. Because even my friends who are educators, I see how above and beyond they go. It's not just an 8-hour day. And so for me, you know, I can't speak on my colleagues that had the other type of school experience. For me, it was like You know, I got a father outside the house. I got a big brother outside the house. I always got somebody who gonna keep me on the straight and narrow. You know, like a lot of the wrestling coaches in the city at the time, they were police officers. That's where a lot of my influence came from. Cause if they see me, they would jump out the car and snatch me up like, you supposed to be at practice.
Man, that's
You're
good
right.
stuff.
Get your blank in the back seat. I'm gonna go ahead and drop you off. And so, because of that dynamic role, that had a major impact. And that's probably why I emulate so many of the good men that were in my life, because I learned so much, you know, from so many. And it was also a blessing that within the CPS, you know, we all knew each other. So even though we were competing against each other, you know, I learned from you know, JB when he was over at what was he
Hubbard.
at? Hubbard.
Yep.
But then when he went over to Corliss and you know, Coach Ford was the gold man for us when he was at Kennedy King and Coach Newman and you know, the guys
You
over
bringing
at
up all them names.
Morgan Park and the guys at Finger. You know, some of these guys, man, they like my best friends to this day. You know, I hang out. I was just with the Maynard from Finger like either last night or the night before last. So I built relationships with them that it's like it wasn't just athlete and coach.
Yeah.
And when I was in college, you know, some of these cats came and watched me have my last home match at school. Actually drove down and watched me wrestle.
Man, that's cool, man.
So the dynamic role, people like me, I benefited from it.
Wow.
You know,
That
it was
that's
hard
a
knock.
shout out,
It
man.
was hard knock. It was hard knock because it was sometimes the love was a little too tough, but it's cool.
We was just doing, man. We just had y'all. I don't know what you say. Blame it on the mind, not the heart, or whatever, man. We just wanted the best for you all.
Yeah.
That's why when I left Washington, shout out to Washington with the John Hope. You know, I'm like, hey, you come. You know, because you take an interest. You know, in kids, and that's what we did. And so for it to like come full circle for me to see you when you was 130 pounds, and I saw you work hard, and I saw you being dedicated, and I saw you being, you know, hard working, bro. It's just an overall good human being. And now to see it come back full circle, you sitting next to me, you know, you're a police officer, you know, you doing wonderful things. It's like, that's the thing for teachers that's worth more than the paycheck. Just seeing you all doing so well, because 90% of teachers, that's what you get. They in there because they actually care about the student. You know what I'm saying? So we appreciate when we see you all doing great things, man. That's so cool, man.
That's why I always went back. You know, I joined the Navy in 2010, and I'm still in. So I've got to do a lot of cool stuff, go a lot of cool places. So, you know, I said if all these good men and women could do this for me, I can give, you know, 5-10 minutes of my time, because I do still talk to so many people from back in the day that are like, man, I like what you guys have become. Even Mr. Johnson texts me all the time, man.
Who?
Mr. Johnson.
Oh, straight up, you still talk to Coach Johnson?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that is so cool, man.
Yeah, I talk to him
Man,
all
that
the
is
time.
so cool. Yeah, I haven't talked to Johnson, man, maybe about 4 years, man.
Yeah, I still keep in touch with him.
that's cool.
Still to this day.
All right, so let me get this in real quick. Talk about Mr. Johnson. We talked about Tommy, all these men. I like to use my son's platform as a way to shout out fathers. Are there any fathers or father figures whose name you would like to say and just give some examples of what made them a good father that helped you, man?
Yeah, I mean, so like, there's you, obviously Wilborn. I can't think of too many bad examples of people who, I mean, give with like no expectation of anything in return. And really, that's just everybody. But obviously you two, because you two have been like my mentors / father figures the longest, and I probably emulate you two the most. I mean, it's things as simple as we spend the night at your house, we break your stuff, and it's like, damn, y'all done broke another table.
Oh my God.
Or, you know, we
turn the business fun, man.
Yeah.
Oh
like,
man.
You know, we get the hey man, here, you got a van, you pick everybody up for school every morning. So y'all got no excuse to be late, even though we were still late every day. Or spending the money to send us off to the Camp of Champs or send us off to all of these tournaments. And then it didn't stop after we graduated. It's been a continuous mentor, mentee, father-son relationship. And here we talking about something that since 2003. Like I mentioned, you know, my boy Maynard Collins, that dude has been, you know, he was coaching over at Finger when I was in high school.
Okay.
And I think I was working at McDonald's when I bumped into him again, and he was like, "Nah, bro, you too talented for this," you know. And he was like, "Come, here's my number. Come down to homecoming." So I went to his homecoming. Probably was like 19. Went to the homecoming with him. Had a great time, and I got to see what like that whole alumni network kind of thing was like. Met a whole bunch of his frat brothers that were like very, very, very successful men. Got to sit down and have a conversation with them and just get like, yo, man, you know, this is what worked for me. Maybe it can work for you. And I mean, man, my boy Brian, he don't live in Illinois no more, but you know, this is one of my frat brothers. Man was a big brother. Now he's like, well, at some point was like, it was a mentor, mentee. It never really got to like father, son, but I was kind of like, you know, big brother. Like, yo, you the big brother I never had. Oh my God, man. I could miss so many people, and it would be such an inconvenience because there's so many names. Names in my mind.
They can just
you know,
back up what we be talking about.
You know, Mr. Johnson, obviously, Coach Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk all the time. Coach Ford, I cannot forget about him. Very instrumental.
Let us use that gym, man.
Very, very instrumental. Coach Newman. Man, and just the other CPS coaches, you know, Coach Wilson from over at Bowen,
yep.
JB,
yep.
You know, rest in peace to Coach Brooks, yep. Lonnie Keys. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I could go on forever. It's so many,
man.
And honestly, even like some friends of mine, mm-hmm. like. So I'm sure at some point Vinny might get on this podcast, but like we the same age, but I've always said like this dude at a young age showed me like what it's like to be a man and a provider for like a younger guy, you know.
Why you say that? Talk to me.
Well, because he had to grow up quick because of things, and I mean, like I've seen that dude go through so much stuff and like never complain about his role as a provider, never complain about his role as a man. And like I've gone through things and like I feel like, man, I'm complaining all the damn time, but like this dude never complain. I call him, man, for advice, like, you know, to get advice in terms of how do I handle this? Or even like you know, Ronald. Those are my two best friends in the whole wide world. Mm-hmm. Ronald is the most free-spirited, just like don't let life get you down kind of person that I know.
Wow.
And I look to them for those qualities that sometimes I may lack. And I'm never afraid to.
Did all y'all meet at freshman year at Washington?
Yeah.
You, Ronald, and Vinny, all y'all together.
Yo, you
right?
know what? What's funny about me and Ronald, man? We had 7 out of 8 classes together as sophomores. So when my mom or his father had to come up to the school for any type of problem, let me guess, Ronald,
Larry.
Well, we don't want to dime the kids out. But yes, it was like it was me and him. We had literally every class together except lunch.
Wow.
That year.
Wow.
So that's when me and him grew closer. And then me and Vinny, you know, we just always around each other. So even to this day, I talk to them, if not every day, just about almost every day. But it's qualities from both of them that like I learned and I watched and I cherished. And to be honest, my athletic accomplishments, I would say Ronald is probably the best, for me, the best wrestler that I ever had as a training partner.
Yeah.
Way better than me.
I was actually
way
going to
better.
bring up that earlier because Ronald
he's
was
way better.
one of those kids who have been wrestling a long time. When I said you
Yeah,
enjoying
and-
yourself,
yeah.
Ronald is and we was cold. You was all the way back here.
Yeah,
and I just watched you walk Ronald down.
I think I think it's one of them things where like maybe he did it so long he
wasn't
probably
into
needed a
it
break
like that no more. Okay.
He probably needed a break and then to get back into it. But I can honestly say I don't think skill wise I probably surpassed him until I was probably like a sophomore in college.
Oh, okay. He still had the skills. You think he was more determined? Yeah, he was cold.
Rondell
he is cold.
Rondell too.
What's up with Rondell, man?
I ain't talked to him in a while.
I be worried about Rondell,
long time.
man.
But I have no
Pate.
I ain't got no problem like shouting people out, and I will say
What about Charles?
Ronald. I ain't talked to him in a while. I saw his father recently though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's still active? Because he's like an activist or something.
Yeah, I saw him at something. I don't recall what it was.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it like everybody had some type of quality. Like even Vinny I outweighed him, but like that dude was ungodly strong.
Yeah.
Like
I watched
ungodly.
Vinny get extra good too.
Like I mean,
That was Vinny first year's freshman year too, right?
Yeah.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
And I watched y'all like
I grab him and I'm like, all right, I know I'm like 25 pounds heavier, but this dude's strong as hell. Like strong. So, you know, like I say, athletically and even in life is qualities that I learned from like everybody that I surround myself with. So it would be like I would be all day trying to name people. Cause even like my friends that I hang out with outside of those two, like my older friends who kind of mentored me just coming up, everybody had some type of quality that I was like, man, I want that. And then even some of them would tell me at some point, because of the profession you chose and, you know, your education, because, you know, I got degrees and whatnot, like you became the person that I'm like, man, I got to catch up to you now, you know. And then it's like, now I'm here, so now I'm watching you like, man, you did this, and that, how you do it? Yeah. Oh, yeah, this how you do it. Yeah. So it's like a, you know, a give and give kind of thing.
You know what I'm thinking when you talking about how, like, what Ronald was for you?
Oh, amazing.
They always say, like, don't be the smartest one in the room. So for you, like, Ronald was that one that was better in that room. You know what I'm saying? So because of Ronald, he helped take you to that next level. So it's always good to have somebody that you're striving to be with around instead of being the best one or the smartest one
1,000%.
in the room. Yeah,
if that dude really, really wanted to, I don't think, like, whatever weight he was at, nobody was better than him. Because I even used to look at sometimes when he didn't even try. I'm like,
I see that too.
I'm like, this dude is having a hard time with, and he's not even trying. Yeah. You know, I just think he just probably needed a break.
Okay, because he been doing it. Because his daddy used to be on him too. His dad was very supportive.
4th grade, but like never took off. But the dude like I tell him to this day, I'm like, dude, you was way better than me for a long time.
Man, Ronald was the man.
Yeah, he was amazing.
And his Kendall was good, but Ronald was like him and Rondell. When that was two guys, it was like, woo, we got something to work with these two.
He was amazing. Like amazing.
Yeah,
for me, it was like cool, man. When I started to get good, I had that drive that he probably had way back in like 7th or 8th grade, you know, but like the skill wasn't really there yet. But like I tell you, I seen the dude. I actually wrestled him in a live match. It it was like, I think freestyle.
Y'all had to wrestle each other in the tournament before?
Yeah, at a freestyle tournament. And like I know he didn't like really try. Like I know he didn't.
So that means you won.
I did, but I know he didn't try.
Did y'all ever talk about it?
No, we was laughing while we was wrestling.
Yeah.
We was like we was playing.
You
We
know,
was
me and
playing.
Coach Wilborn did that.
Oh, that's funny.
Me and Coach Wilborn did that. I don't know if Wilborn remember this story. We was wrestling at Fuller Park. I used to wrestle 98. Coach Wilborn used to wrestle 12. Wilborn was a natural 12. I used to cut to be 98, so I was like 108, something like that. So since I was wrestling in his bracket 112, we didn't wrestle 98 my category. We wrestled 112. So since we was in his, we decided before we got on the mat, all right, you gonna win. We didn't need to battle each other.
Yeah, we didn't
We didn't need to do that. We was laughing, cracking up, and I remember somebody in the audience point to me like, "You need to wrestle." I was like, "Damn, they can kind of see that I'm not." You know?
Oh
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
man. Look, me and his match. What I remember, it started out good and people was watching, but when we started laughing, everybody turned around.
Yeah, like man, they ain't
these-
even on that.
these
Yeah,
dudes
we
just
did
playing,
that
man.
too. Yeah,
Like,
we
these
did
dudes
that
just
too.
playing.
Yeah. Hey man, but so when you was talking about Ronald losing interest, right? My brain went to my son, right? I started this because, you know, I lost my son to gun violence. Greg was very good in basketball. And I watched him maybe his sophomore year. His drive that he used to have, I saw it like diminishing to the point that he didn't want to play no more. And I never really, it was hard for me to accept that. You know what I'm saying? Because he was so good. You know what I'm saying? So now just hearing it out your mouth, what you saw in you, one of your, I don't know what you call him, your best friend, I think you called him, one of them. It took me back to, that can really happen. You can be doing,
Yeah.
you can burn out a kid. Kid been doing something for 5, 6, 7, since 5 years old. By the time they 15, 16, you know, it's probably like, I'm kind of tired of this. I'm over this.
Yeah,
I wanna-"
that or like maybe sometimes they need to be exposed to different things. So for me, wrestling was what I was exposed to because I thought I was like good and great at football, and then I started wrestling and like I just loved it. And if I would have tried more things, like I tried basketball, sucked, horrible, garbage. Don't pick me in like no pickup game unless it's county ball. Football, yeah, I can hit, but bro, I'm not outrunning nobody. I'm not chasing nobody down. Yeah, don't pick me unless it's flag and like it's at this point in my life, it's got to be like veterans flag, like where everybody drink the night before.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm not catching nobody.
Yeah.
I did the tennis thing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not about to be trying to focus on this little ball. And so I just tried so many things, and then you know when it came to wrestling, I was like, I just like it.
Okay. Yeah.
I just like it.
Yeah.
So I got enough exposure where I fell in love, and you know my skill picked up pretty quick, but my mind didn't develop with my skill. Like, you know, by the time I would say I got good, there were kids who I was just as good, if not better than, but they had already developed that mindset like nobody deserves to be on the mat with me, and I was still like, maybe I'll win, maybe I wouldn't. And it was people that I actually beat where I didn't think I was going to win. It's just when I start wrestling, I'm like, yeah, I am better than you.
I'm hearing you say a lot of mindset stuff. It
Yeah,
all
I mean,
starts, and you
it's-
have learned that it all starts
Yeah.
in the mind. You had a lot of
It
self-doubt
do.
with things
I
until
mean,
you saw that you were capable.
Yeah, I used to be so nervous. And then I would go out there and I'd be like, I would let crazy things distract me. Like, you know, back in the day, you was like, if a kid wear white shoes, he's super good. And then you go out and like smash the kid in the white shoes. So it would be crazy stuff like that that I would think,
was real,
or
though.
like you'd see.
And it is still real for a lot of people.
Yeah, I used to like compulsively, obsessively check the rankings and be like, man, I'm number 8. So if I wrestle a guy that's number 6, that means he better than me. Well, I think I actually, my senior year downstate, I beat the kid that outranked me, and then like I ended up losing to the guy that ultimately took 3rd, but like I literally did not really try. I did nothing, no offense, no nothing. And I'm like, looking back in hindsight, it's just one of them things like, yeah, I just didn't have that, like that Black Mamba, Kobe and Mike mindset. I didn't have that. I didn't develop that until like later on.
Yeah.
When I was like a grown man, and it's my last year of college. I ain't got nothing to lose. Yeah. So yeah, sometimes I'm like, what would have happened if I had it in high school?
That as a teacher, mindset. I be on that.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself. Whatever because I teach history, so we debate about things a lot. So it's kind of like whatever you believe in, speaking and I say Obama, President Trump, President Obama get up there and speak. And while they speaking, it's millions of people who's like, nope, don't like that, nope, don't like it. But they still get out there and they project their thoughts. And then, they take back in what the world is saying. And then they might touch it up a little bit because they listen to what everybody's thoughts were and send it out. But you got to have that mindset.
Yeah,
from the beginning, a lot of us don't because we so insecure from just barely making it to school or not eating before school. There's so many things that... And I'm not making excuses for the black race. It's just that I live it, I've been in it, and I understand it. It's like it's so many things that beat you down to the point that you just start thinking from a lower level than to being around people that always congratulate you and lift you up and say positive things.
And that's kind of like the downside of, I guess, growing up disenfranchised. And I can shout out somebody else,
okay,
Dr. Suni Ali, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir, Dr. Ali, great teacher.
My first, and I think he's a professor now. I forget what school, but first time I learned anything about Black history, my history, our history, was when I took his class, and he drilled it into us so much to the point that one day I remember we were dropping N-bombs the whole class. And he like, man, close them books. And the brother got so passionate about how great he got so passionate about like what we are as a people and where we come from that he started crying. And we closed our books and actually sat there and listened to him, and it made you think, like, man, have I been brainwashed this whole time?
Wow.
Because, growing
Shout
up.
out Dr. Ali, man.
Oh, man. Amazing brother.
Shout out to you,
amazing brother.
That's a great story, man.
Amazing man. And I used to sit and I would talk to him when I could after class. Because he taught us, like, our origins. Like, your history didn't begin with slavery.
Yeah.
Your history is much.
So you thought it began in slavery, huh?
Yeah, I did.
That was a thought of me myself too.
And he was he was like, your history is beyond I Had a Dream and The Ballad or the Bullet. So when he started teaching us all this stuff about, where life began and how we got to where we are now, even like on a spiritual level, I was like, man, this dude is like, is the real deal. And man, he drilled it into us so much that after I took that class, it was like no turning back from the learning who you are kind of thing.
Wow.
So that's where I developed the mindset.
Ali. Yes, sir.
Because you think about it, man, we grow up, a lot of people will almost tell you that you crazy to think you can be more than just like this.
Yeah. Like, why you going to school?
Like,
what you gonna like? I remember that, man.
Yeah,
definitely,
like,
bro.
The school ain't gonna teach you nothing.
Yeah.
Or, hey, why you want to vote? Our vote don't mean nothing.
It sure did.
All this stuff, and it's like, man, look, I don't want to get too political.
Okay.
But like there's a reason our forefathers were not allowed to read. There's a reason. Because there's knowledge in those books. There's a reason there were revolts when people learn, wait a minute, God lives within me, so I'm not supposed to be somebody else's property. So there's a reason. But nowadays, people take something as simple as reading for granted, and we have a library in our pocket all day. All day. Or, hey, there's a reason that you were not allowed to vote. There's a reason. It's not because your vote don't count. You know what I'm saying? There's some elections where like, yeah, it actually does. It's if there's 300 votes to 301, the guy with 301 or the girl with 301 wins. That's just the way it is. Number two, you vote, now you have a voice. There's some validity behind your complaint because you are exercising your right to have your voice heard. So everything that it's like our forefathers fought for is taken for granted now. And there's a reason that those things had to be fought for.
Yeah, and that hurt. That's why Dr. Ali started crying when y'all was using the M-bomb.
Oh, man.
That's why. You just explained the reason why.
He heard it.
You know, he's like, y'all don't understand what this word came from, but what we went through because of this word.
Somebody said at one time too many, and he
want y'all to understand.
He like, hey, close them books. And
that's when real teacher begins, bro.
Yeah, and it was Dr. Ali, you the man.
Man, I agree.
Man.
I second that, brother. I definitely second that.
That's a good brother right there.
Hey, so let me go somewhere else, man, because you done gave out shout outs to so many of my coworkers, teachers. I really appreciate that, bro.
Oh, yeah,
definitely, man.
Them was good people.
Now let me go to you, man, because I want to give a shout out. Like a lot of kids, young adults don't want to be teachers, but it's a lot of them also start not to want to be police. I think police are one of the most toughest jobs, and I respect the police so much. And I just want to say that I got a lot of stories of when I was young and when the police car pulled up behind me, I didn't feel protection. I automatically was nervous. I was checking what, you know, I felt a nervousness, right? But as time has went on and I got to understand and the black youth really started speaking up, followed by a lot of other ethnicity following the black youth regarding, you know, police brutality. And I have seen it take a shift. Like I don't be as nervous anymore when they pull up behind me like I used to when I was 16, you know. So from the 90s to 20, whatever this is, 23, I have seen the shift. So I definitely want to give a shout out to the police officers. But what I want to ask you, as far as being a police, it's interesting that you're here. What is your concept or your reality of gun violence? What have you seen in our community that, I don't know, you wish wouldn't happen, that you see happening too much? Just gun violence, period. What do you think? What do the police, you or other police officers as a whole? What?
So this is the disclaimer moment, right?
All
right. This is all me. No department opinion, nobody else.
Okay.
I think a lot of people wanted to stop, man, but just really don't know how to go about it.
Me too.
Constructively.
Me too. Because it's so deep rooted, bro. This hatred is deep, man. It's family generational battles in these neighborhoods.
Or like don't know how to go about it safely. Like I always keep certain things in mind. You show up, somebody done got laid out, and
you say laid out, that means killed.
Yeah,
right?
killed.
Right.
You may have somebody that want to help, but they gotta live there when you leave. Like your shift is 8 hours, they shift is 24/7. So it's like, you know, how can people feel confident helping and speaking out, and you know, who's gonna protect them if they do, especially if it's somebody who can't protect and or fend for themselves, because like everybody's not designed or made to do that. Everybody's not designed to. There are some people that's like, yo, I'm gonna speak out and like bring the noise to my house if you want to, but everybody's not made like that. But as far as the gun violence, I mean, I've seen it like my whole life, and I guess for me, because I have not become numb to it, it may bother me a little bit more than the person who has become numb to it. So we treat it like business as usual. Like, oh, that's just another.
Just see it so much.
Like it is what it is. But for me, you know, it's like, man, a lot of the cats out here, I don't really think they want to be out here. And I'm not making excuses because, you know, there's people that do bad stuff that got like really, really, really good hearts. And there's people that even do good stuff and they got some rotten hearts and rotten intentions. We just look at their deeds and be like, oh, this is a given person. But there's people that like they didn't get lucky like me, where I had so many people I could lean and like call on when I needed somebody to lean on or call on. You know, because I had my grandfather. I don't know. I shouldn't have forgot about this.
Talk to him. What's
But
granddaddy name?
you know, my grandfather, my grandpa Roy, like when I'm talking about was on you. There was no breathing room to even do wrong growing up with him. But I lost him early. A couple years after I met you all, you know, I lost him. And that was a big loss for me and for really everybody in the house, because I come from a big family. And, you know, the thing was like, you know, we preach the love and love for your neighbor and all that. Because I come up with like, I still got whooped by my neighbors and all of that stuff. So where I see the violence now, yeah, oh man, I got teachers.
Get off that grass.
Everybody gave you that work while I was coming up, but obviously it worked because Oz is free, right? But like, just seeing where it's at, it's like it's just like no regard, man, and there has to be a solution. But it's like, you know, how do you reach kids who had no father figure, and it's literally the blind leading the blind, you know, because they not trying to hear they not trying to have no older cat come around and tell them you shouldn't be doing this and that, because they mindset is, dude, you ain't been out here with me. You know, I done lost homies. You ain't been out here with us, so you can't. So you gotta like tread carefully when you're trying to talk to them, and do it with love, but also do it with sternness, because it like this gang stuff ain't nothing new. It's not new, but there was some kind of order and discipline when I know, you know, at least when I was growing up. Definitely, I know when you was growing up, and it's not to say that like gangs are the greatest thing in the world, because they not. I wish they wasn't around, but you know, there also was this whole like, yo, you not about to do that to somebody that got nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
it
was order to it.
You're not about to do that to somebody when they got their wife, their daughter, their mama, or whoever with them. You know, they gonna get a pass. And this is like, this stuff done been around like forever. Like
I remember that.
Like we talking like this stuff goes back way to the 1930s, 1800s with gangs. You know, they just were called different names. So they've always been here. It's different when there's structure versus lack of structure. Now I could get religious and say, hey, if we all go back to God, we'd be cool. But I also have to live in the real world of like, there's people out here like where there's blood behind this stuff, and they not just letting it go. So, you know, you just got a bunch of like the blind leading the blind, and they have no understanding of repercussions. Like I've been on a lot of homicide scenes, and like there's no like the what I understand is like when you in that box, that's it. There's no coming back. There's no there's no more texting. There's no more calling. There's no more checking Facebook or Instagram to see what they done posted. All you got is whatever mental memories, maybe memories in your camera of this person. So gone is gone. And I don't know if people really understand what the concept of gone is. It's not Grand Theft Auto where like you die and then the word wasted comes on the screen and then 5 minutes later you see the character walking out the hospital. Like gone in the real world is gone. And I've always said, what would any of these people who've lost their lives, if they could come back, what would they say to their friends? They probably would say, hey, I don't think you want to see what's on the other side. You know, I watched the interview, I forget, one of the rappers turned Muslim. I think it was Loom. And he was talking about how, like, you know, we forget. Yeah, we always talk about heaven, but we forget there's the other side too. You know what I mean? And if you somebody that's out there doing dirt, like we can bury you and say, hey, this guy, we can say all these great things as I've seen many pastors say, but like you don't know the blood that's on this person's hand and you don't know where they going when they done left this place right here. And I just think, you know, the stuff that these cats are in love with, man, it's like so fast and so temporary. Like they don't understand, like gone is like gone, and dying don't look fun at all. It don't look like it feel good. I don't want to test the waters and find out.
How many bodies, dead bodies, have you think you have?
Oh man,
how long you been police? 9 years, is it?
Yeah. Probably 50. Wow. Somewhere in that range. Most of them young, most of them black males.
That's a lot to internalize. Larry, 50?
Yeah, it sucks.
I like seeing one, and it's so traumatizing. I seen one dead body on the street in my life. I've seen about 50. I still remember that one, and it's like I try to turn it off. Like, unremember it. And I can't stop seeing it.
And, you know, and it sucks because, like, I used to look at this, I forget the website, I think it was called Chicago Homicide Watch, where like they track every homicide victim. And I actually, like, one time I looked at the faces and read all of it from like 2014 to about 2018 or whenever they stopped. But I looked and I read it all. Mind you, like I got people that I grew up with that are dead too, you know. So I've gone to a lot of funerals of people that I grew up with, and you know, you just see like, oh man, nobody wins. You know, you got this person whose physical life is over. You got this person, whoever it was that did it. You know, they mentally and spiritually they gone. You know, once you got to do something like that, you gone. You got this victim's family. They're always going to miss this person, and there's always going to be a void. And then there's the friends who are not going to let it go, even if it's 20, 30 years from now.
You explaining that from all the sides.
And then there's the person that did it. Like, yo, whoever you run with and whoever your homies are and your friends, they got to be on alert now because now they a target. Then we got kids that are left behind who, you know, this person may have had kids. Hey, they're going to be fatherless. We already got an issue with like voluntary fatherlessness in our community. But now we got this. This is involuntary fatherlessness. So, and now you can't take your kids where you might want to take them because in this day and age, ain't no pass.
Yeah.
Ain't no pass. Don't nobody care that you with your kids or you with your mom or you with your brother. So,
let me tell you, pass. Don't forget your thing, though.
Yeah.
You don't get a pass. Where I saw my dead body at, I saw it at a kid's birthday party. hundreds of kids jumping around with their parents. They going through the balls, jumping on a jumping bag. The guy come outside for whatever to go to the car. Right there in front of the big window with all the kids. I'm like, ain't no passes.
No, ain't no passes.
Kids, anything goes. I'm like, oh my God.
Ain't no passes.
But okay.
And like, I've always it's just always been crazy how like I watch a lot of like the YouTube podcasts, and one of the podcasters, like an old mafia boss, says something like, in that life nobody wins. And I think about it like, listen, man, like nobody do win. You in the streets, man, you go to jail, you got kids, somebody got to take care of your kids. And, somebody got to provide for your family. Somebody got to step up and step in on account of, like, your bad decisions. We already got the whole issue of, like, the sisters raising kids on account of, the brothers being gone. So the issue there's, you don't know the anger and the pain that they have to soak in, that they may pass along. So it's like an endless cycle until somebody comes along and breaks that cycle.
And how we gonna do that?
Yeah,
That's the magic question.
Yeah, it may be so many generations before it's broken. And the thing is, man, like a lot of these dudes, I don't think they really, really, really want to be even out in the field like they are now.
Yeah.
Some, man, that's like they live for it, they love it.
Yeah.
It's what they want to do. But I took in so many and talked to them, and I'm like, bro, this ain't you. Mm-hmm. Like you actually a good kid, dude. You know what I mean? But the influence, the little 5 minutes I'm about to spend with you, or the hour, whatever it may take to do this little paperwork, I ain't got no influence. I can't. The
rest of that day,
I can't outdo the other 22 hours.
Yeah.
So it's I don't think it's like it's hopeless, but it gotta be more people involved. And then we gotta shout out and uplift the people that are doing it, because there's a lot of people out here that are putting in work, but why we show the worst of us, I don't get.
I'm just about to say that. I was about to say, like, as a teacher in your classroom, 90% of your class is good. Not even 90. I say 95% doing their work. But there's them 2 or 3 kids back there that get all the attention. And I'm thinking it's like that in your profession. You got all of these citizens that's not even jaywalking, walking across the street the right way. They doing everything.
Yeah.
But it is this pocket and this pocket who.
Yeah, man. Most of
us are doing what we supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I think when you see one of them get hurt, that's when it's like, damn.
Yeah, I mean, because most of the day, man, most people just want to get through the day and go home.
Yeah.
The ones that are that little 5 to 10%, you know them by name.
Yep.
You know who they are. Yep. You know them when you see them. You know how they walk. Yeah. Like you see them and deal with them so much. Yeah. You know them. But most people, for the most part,
they are so good.
They not out here with that
like that. You know what? I see that, like, just growing up in that life, I always felt like I can navigate the neighborhood, because most of the time it's good. All of this is good. You just, okay, be careful if you're right here, be careful right here. But everything else, it's kind of good.
Yeah.
But, most of us don't make it out who's, in there, because that shit rears his ugly head and goes back down.
Yeah, cause
one too many times.
Yeah, because I would be lying. Like, with all the cats I know, the majority of my friends are successful. They husbands, they fathers, whatever the case may be. And then I got my hand full. Like, yo, I can't talk to you, bro.
Yeah. Where they at. You know what I'm saying?
But that's not all. That's it. Now, why we choose to show that little fragment, I don't understand. But I mean, I do read the stories of, like, the great man, I seen something recently, like some young black girl, I think she was about 25, 26, down in one of them southern states just became a judge. That type of stuff is becoming more and more common. Successful lawyers and really, I think actually, whatever research I had did or something I read was talking about how even like when we talking about education, like the sisters are the most educated demographic in the world. You know, not talked about, but the most educated demographic in the world. Because I can tell you when I graduated, 10 years ago now from college, from undergrad, the majority of my class was sisters.
Yep.
When I got my master's, the majority sisters. So there's so much good that is going on.
So happy you said that.
Yeah, on the job. I know so many people who got non-for-profit. Wilborn got non-for-profit. Non-for-profit organizations that are
doing very good. His kids in Africa, some Wilborn.
He got a charter in Africa.
Okay,
but one here too.
Okay.
And like he been doing this forever. You know, so why are we not uplifting people like that?
I'm gonna have to pull a Destry over here.
Yeah, or like, you know, I grew up out in the hundreds and like I forget the lady's name. I wish I could remember it, but she got like the Kids Off the Block program going. Been doing that forever. And put the little brick thing up with a lot of the kids from the program who unfortunately, died due to gun violence. I know some of them from growing up, but like she's been doing that forever. You know, why we not shouting people like that out more?
Yes, sir.
You know, I don't want it.
But you got out here shouting out some black fathers, so you did your thing.
Yeah, I mean,
too, man. So that's awesome, man.
I never got to meet her in person. I would see her sometimes working on the mural, cause like anybody from the neighborhood, I'm ashamed that I cannot remember her name right now, but anybody from that grew up in the neighborhood, like everybody knows her. You know, she opened her door to all them kids trying to help them out. And again, unfortunately lost some, but she's out there working, not letting their memory and their legacy be forgotten. But why she's not being bigged up? People like that, or like Wilborn doing his program and got a charter over in Africa. Why are we not bigging up that kind of stuff is a little bit beyond me.
I always get worried about that with my class, my classes, because you know that's what I know from my class. I make sure that I don't forget to shout them out, even though I done fussed at him or hollered at her. You know what I'm saying? I still make sure I don't forget about the ones that's doing their work, because it's very important to remember. People that's out here that's being productive. You know?
And they, I do like. I can't say, and I gotta, all the John Hope teachers. Sorry, Washington, but I graduated from John Hope.
Shout out Washington too, though. Shout out Washington too, John.
I remember. I don't remember too many people from Washington. I remember Mr. Crump though.
Mr. Crump, that's my man.
I remember
that's my man.
But
shout out.
I can definitely say like John Hope. I have bumped into some of the teachers, even if they're not working there because the school closed. But I've seen like me being out kicking it with my guys. I've seen like some of the teachers out still engaged with former students, having lunch or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, man, that's dope. Like here we are 10 years later, and like you still haven't forgotten about.
Dude, that makes us so happy to see y'all doing good.
Yeah.
For real, man. That'd be it.
And a lot of us, a lot of my class, and the classes after me, everybody keeps in touch for the most part.
That's good.
I think that was embedded in us, before things took a turn for the worse. But we, for the most part, a lot of us do still keep in touch and kind of shout each other out. And a lot of people from school, they actually on the job, so I see them around. So cool. It's cool.
That's cool. You gonna have me make some more of my wrestlers, man. You see my wrestlers, time to come on out here and talk to me, man. And also, for real, I might need you at Whitney Young if we get that program going. I might need your help, man.
Yeah.
Get them kids back in shape, man. Get back.
I train hard, though. I train hard.
Oh, man. Well, thanks for coming on Danny's podcast, man. Anything else you want to leave last that I don't know? Something you want to say, bro?
Yeah, anybody I forget, shout out. Sorry because there's so many good people. Obviously, while I am here and the platform is about Lil Man, I do remember.
Around.
Oh yeah, man. I remember him coming up to the program and
bring him around. Yeah.
he's probably about 2 or 3.
Yep. I'm on the map with y'all.
We used to wrestle around with him, you know. So
he ain't like wrestling though. He like
wrestling wasn't his thing. Nah.
I tried to get him to love it.
He's a basketball kid, you know. So obviously it is due to his tragic death due to gun violence, and you know, unfortunately, I am sorry that you have to be one of those parents. I do hope that change comes at some point in the very, 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 very near future, because I have had to see that painful look in like so many parents' eyes that had to come out, and some of those incidents that I have seen, you know, some do stick with me. I told you before we started about the young lady out west. Like I still, you know, remember her. I actually got a screenshot of. I've had to screenshot the story of what happened to her in my phone for 5 years because it was that profound. But I mean, I can't even think. I would be naming probably 15 to 20 people that I grew up with, and it sucks because it's like, yeah, you know, I mean, I don't think we was out of high school a month before we lost our first one, maybe 2 months, and you know, the loss, yeah, and like the loss is the loss, and when the loss is there, is so many people that are impacted. That's probably what makes it hard to stop and contain. It's like when there's blood on this stuff, you know, people they don't forget. You know, they think about that person's smile.
Deep pain. The pain is so deep, like it'll never go away.
No, it won't.
It's such an anger.
It won't.
It's a lot.
It won't. You know, I've lost a lot of people that were close to me, and you know, for people that are watching, it's like it's one of them things. It's a team effort. So let's look at the bigger picture, and you know, let's make it happen.
Be back to Dr. King, Malcolm X, the Black Panther, President, everybody, man. Like it's a team.
Yeah, it's a team effort, man.
But Brandon Johnson did say, man, shout out Brandon Johnson, that you know he want to solve this as a one giant Chicago community, man. And I think that's kind of what you just said. It's a team. That's the first step. We all gotta somehow.
It's doable, man, because like. And I don't want to ramble too much, but I've been able.
Do you though?
I have used my you know, me being out on the streets just sometimes to sit and talk to them dudes. Man, a lot of them they're not really that, you know. And I be praying like, man, I hope you can get out, or something can come along to get you out before you make a decision where you can't get out. Because once you spill or take some blood, like it's over. You know, like you
can't take back what you did.
You can't take back what you did, you know, unless you are like justified of what you did. But if it's on like some street stuff, like you can't take that back. But like, man, a lot of them dudes, when you take the homies away and take the jury, you take them away and you get them in that room and talk to them alone, and it's like, nah, this ain't somebody that's
person.
Yeah, like you ain't playing me, like bro, this ain't you, dog. Like for real,
do you remember
this ain't you.
Do you remember as a teenager, like putting on Larry's face when you walk out that door to go to school? Like in the house, I'm one person, you know, but when I went out that house, I had to be, you know, the protector of my little brothers and sisters. I had to wear something to survive. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand when you say putting on all the chains, but when you take all that stuff off, it's like,
you know, because I'll be talking all day. I actually, so last year I was in Guam for a little bit on military, and Guam is a small island, way on the other side of the planet, but it's peaceful, man. And so I didn't realize how much I'm not gonna say PTSD because that's the wrong word, but I didn't realize how much hypervigilance we have to have living here until I came back home. So I was gone, and man, I could go for a run at 3 a.m. It was like so slow on the island. I mean, people drive slow. You get frustrated. Well, they knew I'm like he didn't grow up here, you know, and I was there for a little bit of time where like I actually decompressed from being here. And so when I came home, the first thing I did when I dropped my stuff off, I took a shower, I went to my buddy's house and we hung out for a little bit and I'm like, yo, I gotta get up out of here, bro. I'll catch you later. And like I walked outside and walked to my car, man, and I can't even describe how terrified I was just walking from the gate to my car across the street, and I'm like, man, I only been removed for a couple of months, and like you telling me I lost my hypervigilance to where like I'm this shooken, and I ain't no gangbanger. You know what I mean? I don't got nobody looking for me. So I was like, man, this ain't good.
It ain't good.
Like it's not good at all.
I went to college, just going to college. Being out of Chicago for months at a time, coming back, I saw the difference in the way you move from being in Charleston, Illinois to being in Chicago. I'm like, ooh, Chicago it's something to make it out of. To make it out of Chicago, man, you could probably make it anywhere if you could make it out of Chicago.
Yeah, man, you travel and you tell people you from here, there's some type of notoriety that comes with it, and it's like, but yo, that's not the city. It's really not, man. Chicago got so many wonders and landmarks and so much history. This city is not just like whatever the little bit of bad that gets hyped up. It's a whole bunch of stuff. I grew up here and I'm just now still discovering places that I have never been and things that I could do in this city. You know, so it's a lot to do.
My hood, my city, they just took the kids down to Chicago. Did you see that? They took them downtown for just because, you know, a lot of kids haven't seen downtown.
Yeah.
You know, so they took, I think it's about 1,000 youth downtown. I thought that was such a great idea. And I think the corporations from downtown gave them discount prices, if not free, to do different experiences, going into the Hancock building or going into here, going into there on tours. It was good, man.
So there's a lot of good here, and there's a lot of people that they invested.
Even though it broke my heart, Chicago broke my heart, but I know it's good.
Yeah, it's good. It's just, you know,
you got me.
we got a little bit of work to do.
Yeah. Hopefully, with this leader we got, man, that we come together as a community, a team, like you said, man, we can make it.
Yeah, we'll come together. You know, things don't always stay the same forever. Okay. They don't. Just a dark patch right now. You know what I mean?
We gonna make it out of it.
Yeah,
we gonna make it out of it, man.
You gotta think for every one, let's say, bad one you hear about, man. There's so many. It's plenty of kids. Plenty of kids that are doing well. Yes. You know, I coach kids wrestling when I can make it up, and I ain't got no kids that are like problem kids, like at all. So it's plenty. You know, we just got to shine a light on them a little more.
Chicago is plenty of us. Daddy's Podcast. Peace.